I'd like you to reflect a little bit on your tenure at Canadian Pacific and talk to me about how IT served as a transformational force, either to change operations or processes or both during your time at Canadian Pacific.
Okay, I think, I like to think of myself as the next generation CIO, and that's the CIO that is innovative, visionary, and one would say, even say brave in understanding technology and in taking risks. When I joined Canadian Pacific, I encountered a company that had failed to invest in IT for about 10 years. Now, there's lots of good reasons why that had happened, but the company had started to realize that in order to keep up competitively, and in fact take itself to the next level of productivity and revenue generation, they needed to start to make those investments in IT, and they needed a transformational CIO to help them get there, and that's in fact why they hired me. I spent 2 years modernizing the infrastructure, the processes, implemented new standards, spent a lot of time and money in educating and certifying the credentials of my staff, which really got us to the point where we're now in the position of being able to take advantage of those investments to drive new revenue generating initiatives or get to market faster. I will point out that it's not just Canadian Pacific that I've seen these changes. When I was at Barclays in the UK, I worked as Chief Operating Officer for the group CIO, and I led for him a program called Getting IT Right, which was really the modernization of the whole IT estate for that large UK banking organization. And it's something that I've observed in a number of companies over the past few years, and it's something that I think companies in the next 2 to 5 years are really going to need to get a handle on this if they're not thinking about it already.
So if you reflect then on both of those stays, both at Barclays and at Canadian Pacific, and your ability to function as a transformational CIO, is there one thing or two things that stick out in mind that allowed you to do that? What is the environmental situation that says, okay, you go ahead and do this? Is it a number of things? Is it one thing? What sticks out in mind?
It's really a number of things, and I always look at transformational opportunities and look at the preconditions that I like to see before I'm going to embark on something like this. You know, the most important is that the executive in the company need to, if not understand technology, at least understand why the change and the transformation is necessary to move it to the next steps. So you really need the support of the senior executive in the company. You need the ability to put your own team in place. So, you know, you don't get to a particular destination over a period of time with the same team, that you need to take it to a completely different direction. So in many cases, you need the flexibility to swap out your team and start to build the skills and capabilities of a new team of people that are going to take the organization in a new direction. And I think that the final thing that you need is funding. So you need the early funding, but you need the intestinal fortitude, so to speak, to stay the course. Okay, it's not over until the final investment is made. So those are the things that I think are important in order to be able to embark on a significant transformation with a high degree of success.
Well, what you say is very interesting because, okay, you do bring up the funding aspect, but sort of front-end loading all of that is a very high degree of communication with your staff, yes, with the line of business, yes, managers, and with the CEO. I mean, that seems to be what you're indicating here is the kind of like the, not to put words in your mouth, the foundation of transformational IT.
I think it is, and I think that maybe the one thing that I missed out of that virtuous circle, so to speak, is your vendor community. Because your third parties increasingly play a very large role in how you deliver IT, and they need to be at the table. They need to be partners. They need to feel like partners. They need to be involved in understanding decisions that are being taken and understand what their role is in moving you forward.
So a lot less ultimately about managing technology and more about managing change.
Yeah, it really is about managing change, absolutely.